This is just a few highlights of my trip out to Las Vegas for the 2017 CES. And although I concentrated on drones, not all of them are even shown here. But this is just a few of my favorites. Yes, here we have a drone that is a two-person operation. You have one guy that is concentrating the drone and only concentrating on that for stability, and someone else controlling the camera. Makes it a lot easier for a two-person operation. This is the GDU bird, and they are what I would call at the forefront of thermal imagery with a very high resolution camera where the others just aren't quite there yet. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Again, another unique entry where the legs go up, the arms come down, and when it's all put together, it resembles a white football. And you can see as it flies here with the legs retracting into the body, and it does give it that football look. And everybody seems to be getting into the selfie drone segment of the market. This particular model is easy to open, it's very safe. You can put your hands all over it. You can practically toss it in the air. Kind of, I think, what Lily was trying to accomplish. And in doing that, it hovers, you can have it in your pocket, and as you can see here, it just tosses it in the air and it flies. This has a $600 price tag, which, in my opinion, is a lot of money and not so sure it's going to make it. Now this machine takes drones to a whole nother level. Your personal flying machine. Again, the selfie drone market, this is the Dolby. The Dolby is also being sold as a selfie drone. It does have a 4K camera. It is digitally stabilized, but manually you operate the angle of the camera. Here the demonstration is in that they can fly a number of them at the same time in a pattern, almost a drone dance. As you can see, all of them launch. And what they're doing is reading the QR codes on the floor to do the synchronized flight that they're doing. A lot of the drones today don't really rely on GPS inside the building. They rely on down-facing sensors, which focus on a pattern, lock in on that pattern, but it does require considerable amount of light. So in a dark room with a slick surface, they're not as apt to stay stationary as in this scenario. Now this is a whole nother entry into the drone market, which is very interesting. As you can see, the target just spun, and that's because these drones shoot pellets. So I'm not really sure where this application is going. It's almost scary, but we'll see as time goes on. Now the Drone Volt company has a number of utility type drones with different applications. This is an agricultural drone. I can't really see it doing much in the cornfield, but in mosquito control, I can see where it might work in the Florida area, especially over retention ponds and taking care of some of the mosquito issues we do have here. It might just work. We'll see where this goes as well. It is a beautiful machine, long flight time, but the capacity isn't quite there yet, but I'm sure it's something they'll work on. And here it's the same base platform, but they have mounted 360 cameras top and bottom to give an overall look at 360 degrees. Now the paint spraying application is fascinating because I'm envisioning painting across a building and going right over the windows, but maybe they have that figured out. And everyone is getting into the racing drones as well. You see the small one and the larger one here. The small one being the racing drone, the larger one being more of a cinematic camera. And like I mentioned earlier regarding the selfie drones, this is similar to the other one that we showed earlier that folds up, only this one has a much different price point and is very similar. And it has a choice of colors. Where the black one that I showed earlier was in the $600 price range, this is in the $300 price range. And there's really not enough difference to make a difference in the price point. And again, this one is put out by the same company, Ehang, that does the model which you can ride in. They have some very interesting models, and they're quite pricey. And we touched on the thermal camera a little bit earlier. This is the FLIR, which is really the leader in thermal imaging, and this would come in handy in solar panel maintenance, search and rescue for people lost out in the field. This will show the body temperature and make it easier to find those people. Something we're going to look at in the future. Now, the CES isn't all about drones. As a matter of fact, it is all sorts of tech. And in the camera industry, these are right up there as the best of the best. Very nice units. And it's not all about drones either. This is your underwater jet ski kind of apparatus. Very interesting. I can't say I wouldn't want to have one of these. And this is more of a drone, to be honest with you. They sell this as a fishing drone where your bait is attached to the long thing sticking out front there. And as the fish takes the bait, it comes away from it. And another company is offering this unit for sale, targeted more towards the marine biologist or possibly the state where they would use these for search and rescue or just out in the field, water quality, fish counts, all sorts of underwater technology that they may be looking at. The CES has all sorts of things. Very interesting.